Salina Conner has had troubling dreams before, but when both herself and her associate have the same dream at the same time about the same person, Salina wastes no time and goes to the Baltimore, where she hopes to find the fig their dreams, the enhanced entity known as Bug.
That screams prostitute, and the old woman's trying to say something to you. Do you try and communicate with the figures in your dream?
Yes, because I'm familiar with really bad dreams from service. Reach out and ask them, what are you saying?
You could see that she wants so much to speak to you, but you're not getting any audio, just video. Just getting these distracted images, and it falls back a couple of times to these images in the distant past. And someone has really smacked her in the face good a couple of times. Pretty girl, but just see that this is someone that life has kicked around.
That's what happened to her. Who did this to you?
And you see someone you almost have to think of as frat boys. And you see guys with jello shots and those funny kind of headgear with the beards on the side. and the faces are indistinct, but there's the idea that there's a bunch of them. And she reaches out to you and says, but he can help.
Oh, he can help?
But he can help.
Okay, I was going to say Bohica, holy shit. But he can help.
And it's the only audio you get, and her voice is crackled and strange, and you can see that moving audio is particularly difficult here.
Does it seem like that she's referring to the frat boy?
No.
But he can help.
Her image is starting to fade away, and she gives you one last image of this guy who looks like a homeless guy in an old pair of shorts and a shirt that says 8-Bit Warrior with a picture of the oldest version of Mario from Donkey Kong on his shirt. And she's gone, and you wake up like a bolt of lightning.
Was it Bug?
It looks a lot like the guy from the news.
I gotta find him. How do I know where these guys are? How do I know where Bug and Mettle are?
I found Mettle's condo early on, and you left an energy drink as kind of a note for them. It wouldn't be all that hard to find him if you went looking.
I'm going to assume at this point, when we're moving like a month into the future, that he's staying at the Baltimore.
There was some shady underworld deal, and the building where Bug went to, and you've heard this from the girls at the shelter, is this weird safe zone, but the cops won't go there either. And because the place is overrun with cockroaches, no one goes there unless they have to. It's become this weird kind of place for refugees passing through. Mostly they sleep there when they just can't get anywhere else because everybody is terrified of the giant insect man. So the gangs stay away, the cops stay away.
I'm going to head over to the Baltimore. I've got a vehicle, and I keep my shit in the trunk of my car.
Put in the super suit, or you don't?
I don't. I keep it in the trunk of my car.
But you're bringing a bunch of guns and all of that.
Yeah. She never goes anywhere without something. One pistol is usually in the glove box, another under the front seat. The heavy hardware is in the trunk.
Okay. And this is a relatively ordinary-looking car?
It's going to be a regular... Parker, what should I drive?
You should drive...
Prius!
No. It's got to be gasoline, sorry. Ultra-Rosa is gasoline.
What you want is a late model sedan.
Mm-hmm. Late model sedan.
An Escalade.
Burgundy colored. No, it's not going to be a Cadillac. We'll get back to that later.
You're heading out to the parking lot. We have not reached your Chrysler 300 or whatever this is yet. So Sydney is a woman. She's worked at the shelter for years. She was here when you got here. And this woman's probably in her late 50s. And she's got this I've seen everything in the world thing going on. Sydney is standing outside the shelter smoking and one hand's kind of shaking.
Sydney, what's going on? What's the matter?
Just a dream. Just sometimes. Do you ever get dreams?
Why, yes. I actually had a very vivid dream myself. It had to do with Indian women.
Did you hear screaming?
No, I didn't have screaming. Mine was really silent. But you could tell me was it just screaming?
It was like all of these girls, it felt like every girl we never saved. Every woman that never made it to the shelter were all screaming out at me. And then I just heard this one ridiculous old lady voice saying he can help. I can't make any sense of it. But man, the screaming was haunting.
Neither can I make any sense of it, but we both had the same dream. I'm going to try to find out who this he can help person is, because this is really unsettling.
You're leaving in the middle of the night to go see him?
Yeah, I think I know who it might be. I'm going to need you to watch the shelter for a couple of days.
Yeah, just don't ask me to beat anybody up, okay?
No. Here's the keys. Here's the keys to the front door.
You know what it is? How it is sometimes? You just hear them screaming. The kind of scream of helplessness, where they know they're not going to be able to do anything. It's the kind of scream I've spent my life avoiding.
Yes, it's really got me disturbed. I can't sleep for the rest of the night. I'm going to go and try to figure something out, because both of us having the same dream, that's just too weird.
I'm likely to be up all night. You call me if you need me, okay? It's 1:05 a.m., approximately an hour later. This is a bar called the Die Spot. Okay, and Parker, you are in the second of 5 bands that have played on Saturday night, and you're closing up the amp and all of that, and it's your second time playing at the Die Spot. Kind of a shady club. You know, some people got up and danced, and they kind of dug your stuff, and, you know, it was cool. And who's the guy in the band with you? I forgot his name. Paul, okay. Paul brought this girl he met that obviously he wants to get to know better. Her name was Sheila. She sang a couple of numbers. She was all right. She wasn't amazing. And you're coiling up the amps and all of this, and it's, you know, you got in here because you had a connection with a friend. But after your second time at the Die Spot, they really seem to like you. And the club, the guys that run the club, they're planning to bring you back another time if you want to be back in 2 weeks and all that. Yeah, Warren, did you want to come back and play at the 5 Spot? Is 5 bands on Saturday night. It's their thing, right? They do a 6 thing, they do a 2 thing, right? So
Right.
Did you want to come back and play the 5 Spot again?
You know what? Yeah, we can do that.
They like you in the audience, kid. The thing is, if you can, you know, another couple of weeks at this, you're building up a crowd. We're glad to put you in the premiere spot for Saturday night, but you got to build up a little more of a crowd than you have. What do you think? You want to do this?
Well, yeah, we can give it a shot.
Okay. Listen, I know I run the club, and the guy's name is Dimitri. Nice guy, Dimitri. Really, Dimitri deals with upset patrons and buys them a drink and makes sure everything goes well. And, you know, if everybody's just drinking and dancing, Dimitri is a good night, right? Listen, kid, I don't own the club. The guy that owns the club, he wants to talk to you. And I told him that you're just my guitar player, and I don't want to bring you into anything you don't want to be into because you seem like a nice guy. But did you want to talk to the club owner?
I mean, do you think it'll help?
Well, I think he... Look, kid, I don't know how you got on my schedule, and you're a good act, and I like the way you play that machine of yours. And the girls get up and dance, so we love to have you here. And if you don't want to get involved in anything other than playing the music, it's okay, and I'll tell him that.
Yeah, I think, I got some other stuff going on in my life right now, so I think that'd be best. Just keep it simple.
So Dimitri goes, and he's like, that's cool, kid, that's cool. And he goes, and you're closing up the amp and all of that, and in walks this man. He says, hey, Warren, you're Warren, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't want to bother you, man. I don't want to be a problem for you, but I do need to talk to you, and I'm sorry if I'm being pushy, but I brought you pizza. And he actually brings 2 large pizzas and sets them down on the amps that you guys are wrapping up. Because I guess you're that guy that's always eating.
Well, shit, yeah, if you got pizza, yeah.
I kind of need you to help me.
Of course, yeah.
So my name is Jimmy Mack. You got on my schedule because I was doing a favor for a business associate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Completely cool, and they like you at the club, and, you know, we don't mind paying you. And like I said, you know, pretty girls come in to listen to you play. And, man, no one hates pretty girls coming in, but so there's like a problem that we want to keep from being a big. Our mutual friend was supposed to help us with this kind of thing, except our mutual friend is out of touch right now. Is this someone you can find? And he seems really nervous. It's a tough guy in his own club. You can see he's got ink in one arm. Do you recall the name Jimmy Mack?
No, not off the top of my head.
What is your intelligence and will?
Intelligence is a 4, and my will is also 4.
This means you need to roll a 9 or better to recall this thing.
I got a 9 exactly.
Okay. Jimmy Mack, you recall the name that this is the guy when they were deal making at the end of that crazy thing last month. Mettle got him removed from prison where he got arrested. And this is a gang leader that was involved in that whole crazy dust-up last month. And he's apparently a pretty significant guy.
He's, like, actively looking around nervously.
Yeah, this guy's got some problems, right? And he's like, he literally brought you pizza. And he's like, so I was looking for our mutual friend. Is this someone that, you know, I don't know, you got phone numbers for? Because the phone numbers I have, they're not working.
Yeah, I can get a hold of him. What do You want me to pass on a message, or?
He's, rubbing his head. Why don't you grab your pizza and maybe a beer or something, come back to my office? I don't want to talk about this in the club. But I don't want to be a problem for you.
It's not a problem.
Goes back to the club and he pours himself a couple of drafts and hands you one of them. And he says, listen, our mutual friend, she stopped one flow of commerce in order to start another. You know what I mean? Nobody runs guns in the city because she's going to beat the hell out of anyone that does. More people are getting hit with cars now, but that's not my business. And we're all making money, right? We run the clubs. People buy what they want, sell what they want. The problem is there's a new group called the BBM Syndicate, and they're running their own line of girls, which I think is okay, because I don't mind if, we run a couple of lines of girls, and that's okay. But they're running their own girls, and they've got hardware like I've never seen before, like that Buck Rogers shit. And if our mutual friend can get them to play according to the rules, I think the city's big enough for all of us. But if not, we're going to have to go back to the old way of doing things.
Yeah, I don't think we want that.
Right. And I know you're just like friendly with the lady and all of that, because you're not the big guy with the bugs, right? I mean, because you don't like turn into the big guy with the insects, right?
You didn't see me freak out on stage when that spider happened to crawl up the neck of my guitar?
Yeah, that was funny stuff. I thought that was part of the act.
Yeah.
But no, man. So like I said, we look, I used to work for a boss, and he was a good friend, and I've known him since we were shorties together. And he got blown in half during that whole nightmare with the civil guard. And I'd known him, man, since we were sharing popsicles together. And I don't want to go back to that kind of gunfire in the streets. I don't know, put up the bat signal or whatever you people do. This would help us all.
Yeah.
So you enjoy the pizzas and you want beer behind the bar. You just tell Dimitri what you want. He'll pour you the beers because they like you at the club, kid. And none of us want the shootouts to come back.
Wait, so Dimitri's aware of all this too?
No, man, Dimitri just runs the club. He's a good guy.
Gotcha.
He's like you. He just wants to do his thing, right? He wants to run his club. He wants to serve people beer. Good guy. Because really, I run a few businesses. I'm trying to be a good guy. You're trying to play your guitar because that's what works for you, right?
Right.
You want nothing to explode.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, Jimmy.
So what do you do from there?
Well, I guess I finish the pizzas. Eat my fill of the pizzas, and I'll head out. Say my kind of goodbyes to Paul and let him know about the schedule and stuff. And
Paul's like, "Why did they bring you pizza? No one brought me pizza."
Well, here, I'll hand him a slice.
Oh, okay.
It has pineapple on it. I figured you wouldn't want it.
So, do you know these guys?
Yes, it just some old, I told you I used to jam with some random guys, buddies of buddies of buddies, some distant connections like that I happen to know.
This might be nothing, but did you notice the hustlers don't bother you? The hookers don't come up to you. The panhandlers don't bother you. It's like you get a pass.
Put my arm around Paul's shoulder and say, look, when you look like this, sometimes you just intimidate. I think it's time you start getting back in the gym, Paul. It's been a while.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You throw your amp and your guitars in the back of Paul's 1994 Vanagon. And so what do you do from there?
I'll just head back to, my apartment, make some phone calls.
You drive there? Do you use your powers?
I guess what he would usually do, because obviously he doesn't really need a car, probably just tell Paul, I'm going to Uber back or whatever. And then whenever he watches Paul leave and he kind of realizes he's by himself, then he'll just run back.
Zip back to your apartment. Okay. Who do you call?
Ghostbusters!
Well, it's 1 a.m?
It is currently almost 2 a.m.
I mean, would it even be an issue if I called Bug or Mettle at this point, 2
They're
a.m?
superheroes. Who knows what hours they keep?
Call Mettle.
You have a number for Mettle that's definitely not the number other people have. And she's left a recording that says, I'm going to be in Asia for a couple of weeks. There's a couple of problems I have to attend to with my business, and I'm going to be in Vladivostok. So don't let the city burn down while I'm away.
Okay, then I'll call Bug.
And scene cut. It's 2:15 a.m. The building you have has become an interesting place in the last month. It's kind of like when you used to play hide and seek is once you touch your ghouls, they can't get you. Is you watch gangsters chase people up to your building and then decide they don't want to get back to your building. right? They don't want to get involved in your building. But you hear the sound of breaking glass and it wakes you up.
I get up pretty quickly, go to check it out.
The top t-shirt on the pile is the 8-bit warrior one that shows Mario.
I grab it and put it on and head out barefoot to...
The building, no one per se lives in it, but you've started to pick up intermittent squatters. They never stay too long, but there's people that seem to be passing through here. And there's this old woman who was sweeping the walk in front, and she has a broom. The old grandma lady is, you have no idea what language she's speaking, but she is in a full lather. And there's a broken window in the side of the building. And at first you thought she's upset about the broken glass, but she's screaming into the broken window. And she is just completely freaked out and upset. You don't speak Portuguese by any chance, do you?
I do.
Okay, so the old lady is Brazilian, and she is screaming in Portuguese. There's ants walking on her, and she seems to be completely unbothered by all of the ants. About, Mr. Bug, you can't let them do this. They can't do this here, Mr. Bug.
I take it they're up there doing whatever they're not supposed to be doing.
Well, she points in a broken glass window right on the first floor.
Let me take a look, and then I will just...
It's a lot of broken glass. You would need to use... I know you have a very high body, and maybe you could just walk through broken glass, but it's into one of the apartments that's been empty for a very long time. It looks like someone threw something through a window and smashed it. You see forms moving in the inside, but it's indistinct.
I rhino beetle up and crawl in through the window.
There is a badly beaten young woman curled up on the floor. You can't see her face, but you can see she is bleeding. And the old lady, after you break the glass, steps past you and stands in the way of this young woman bleeding and crying on the floor. She looks like a high school student, right? Like someone who dressed up to be pretty and it just didn't work out. And she's screaming at, like, into the darkness, into the next room of this abandoned apartment. And you hear some, oh, what the fuck, man? I don't know. I didn't call her. Dude, this isn't how this is supposed to go.
I will keep walking. You know, as is my wont, I'm more of a casual walking to danger. I will step, as I step past the women involved, I will ask the girl in the grandma in Portuguese, you have her, right?
Do you speak to the girl curled up on the floor or the grandma? One or the other?
The grandma.
Okay. The grandma says, Mr. Bug, you protect her.
I'm taking care of it right now.
Okay. So she goes and stands protected. Like, she's not going to stop an angry beetle. Not like you, she's not going to stop an angry bird, but she goes and stands in the way. Like she will never move from here.
No, well, more just to take care of her is kind of what I'm looking for.
Oh yeah. But
check
there's
on
a lot of upset. There's a lot of angry, and she's bleeding and all that.
Right.
Okay. So you go moving towards this kitchen, or what do you do?
Yeah, I will mention as I pass the young girl. I'll be right back. I move in towards the talking gentleman.
Old lady and a really beat up young girl. Yeah, and these two frat boys are there. They're mad. Who the hell are you?
I take a very deep, slow breath. I cross my arms and I look at them. Well, you're in my house. Who the hell are you?
Your resistance is something like 15 at this point. Isn't it something super high?
Yes. It is not 15, it is merely 12, but that makes me functionally...
Yeah, it makes you a battle tank. So
right.
the guy on the right just reaches out and punches you dead center. And he's like, oh, Jesus! And the guy says, who is he? He says, I don't know. And then they look at each other and he says, we're in the bug building.
I reach out and I grab the guy who just punched me, and just lift him up. Just head to the side so I can talk to the other one.
And the old lady is screaming behind you, and she's even in Portuguese, she's vaguely coherent and says, "You can't do bad. There's no bad men here. This is the bug building. You can't do that here."
She's very right. You can't do that here.
Well, they don't speak Portuguese and have no idea.
That's not my problem. That's a them problem.
Got it. Other guy Not the one you picked up, but the other one reaches out and just breaks he's going to try and break a bottle over your head. He has a half-full bottle of a decent scotch, and he reaches out to slam you in the head with it.
I let him if it makes him feel better.
Just get scotch in your head. It does nothing to you.
I put my hand on his chest and push hard enough to send him flying, but not hard enough to hurt him. A show of the error of their ways. I'm not trying to break dickheads right now. I'm showing them that they have made the worst choice of their life.
Okay, so he goes flying backwards into the refrigerator. You hear a voice from behind you. You're the man they call Bug, aren't you?
Are these yours?
These are my clients. I'm told that you're a reasonable man to deal with. Can we have a reasonable conversation?
I do not like hurting people I do not have to hurt, but there are rules, and your clients have broken them.
And I would like to take my clients off your hands and clean everything up so there's no more problem.
He's behind me, right?
You know, he's not like threateningly behind you. He just
No, I get that, but okay. I'm actually not looking at him. Right now we're just talking, and I haven't even bothered. I'm doing a very classic Bug big dick. I'm not turning to look at the man I'm talking to yet. I will turn around, still holding the one douchebag, and look at Winston at this point.
I understand there's been a break of protocol, and these gentlemen were uninformed as to the rules of things. I'm glad to take them off your hands. What's your intelligence and will?
5 and 4, sorry.
Okay.
14.
There is a low-profile red and brown limousine outside. It's a nice piece of work, and it's pulled up really quietly. So Winston, who's dressed very nicely, apparently arrived in a limo. I understand that there has been a problem here, sir. And I would like to, because they tell me you are a reasonable man. Can I just take these gentlemen off your hands?
Reasonable man or no, I cannot let infractions go unrecognized and unpunished. It sets a bad example.
I understand, sir. And they won't be returning to your city. Just let me put them in the car, and we'll take care of business. And he pulls out a business card and hands it to you.
I walk over. I'm still holding on to the guy. Again, for me to hold him in air, I can do this until doomsday if I had to, kind of thing.
You could hold up a mid-sized sedan over one head until doomsday.
So I will reach over and take the card.
There's a logo on it. It says Winston, and there's a phone number. And he says, I would appreciate it because these men are clients, and I understand that they've stepped over your line. And the grandma starts screaming.
I will let the man drop. Winston, there is a price to be paid here.
And what do you imagine that price is?
Your clients didn't know. Why didn't your clients know? I think that speaks poorly of you informing them of the rules of the city.
This is true, and I will take responsibility for this. They weren't supposed to be in the city.
The girl obviously stays. She's protected.
The girl jumps up off the floor after the guy at the fridge. You can see she has a black eye, and she hasn't spoken because her jaw is broken. And she reaches out to claw the guy that you threw into the fridge. She reaches out to essentially claw his eyes out, and she goes flying across the room at him. The grandma steps out of the way for it.
Winston has bought my cooperation. The girl I will protect. Yeah, if she hurts him, I'm not put out. If he starts to hurt her, though, we run into a different issue.
Winston would have to get by you to stand between drunken idiot number one and the injured girl. Do you let him by?
Does he try?
Yes. He don't want anyone to get hurt, and he wants to stand between the two.
I won't move out of the way, at least quickly.
What is your influence and aura?
My influence is 3 and my aura is 3.
Tough as you are, you're not particularly intimidating. 15 or better to intimidate at this point.
No, 11.
He goes by you and bumps you a bit. He's not attacking. You could see he's, going into a stop her. And she just starts screaming. You could tell she's trying to say something at first, but she's trying to talk with a broken jaw. And the grandma lady runs headlong into you. Drunken idiot number one punches grandma square in the face. Give me an initiative against Winston.
25. I literally can't do better, so.
What is your dex? He also is a 25 and can't do better. He rolled a perfect score. Your dex
7.
You are running fractions of an inch ahead of Winston. What do you do?
I punched the drunk idiot number 1, but I am pulling my punch. It's literally just knocking him out. I have no great desire to put serious harm on this dude. He is a person. 4 is probably good enough. Or at least he's enough of a person to me to...
Who's had too much scotch? Roll me 2 dice.
First of all, I'd like to say I did say I was pulling my punch, because that's about to become super, super important.
Your effect value is currently 4. I get that.
Well, and pulling a punch means no knockback, more specifically.
Right.
But I can't accidentally hurt him, because I'm taking penalties for that. This is super important, because I rolled double 10s.
Oh, Christ.
And then an 11 on top of that. So 31.
Okay, so you knock him through the window, a different unbroken window, out into the street. Not enough to cause knockback damage, but you send him flying. And Winston says, "Damn it," and pulls a very sci-fi looking gun out of his coat and shoots you with it. There is a, let's see, your dex and body are what?
My dex is 7. My body is 8. My armor is 12. My resistance is 12, but my body is 8.
Yeah, this isn't that good.
It makes a difference depending on what kind of attack it is.
Yeah, this is the kind where it unfortunately doesn't help you.
Oh, that's fine.
So 8 against, you said 7 and 8?
Yep.
Okay, there is a blinding flash. Your dex is currently down 2 from the flash attack. Okay, you're partially dazzle blinded. There is an impact, and don't get me wrong, this isn't like getting hit by Wotan, but it sends you flying. Because it was more like being hit with a fast car than being hit with a gun, and you go flying backwards. Wrecking, this kitchen is getting wrecked. This kitchen needs a complete renewal by the time we're done here. But here's the hard part. What is your intelligence and will?
5 and 4.
5 and 4. Okay, and you black out. Whatever hit you, it hit you hard enough that even though physically it didn't do you any damage, you black out. Okay.
Ooh.
Yep, it was a major thing. So Miss Rosa, Sub-Rosa, excuse me, Ultra-Rosa, Sub-Rosa would be something different. You were pulling up outside of this building. You weirdly hear a phone ringing from the inside as you see a limo pulling away.
Okay. I'll get out my car. If I'm able, I'll read the plate, as my paranoid behavior usually will.
Yeah, you get the plate. It has a logo on it. The limo does. It's not one you're familiar with, but it's definitely a logo.
Okay. And go where the sound of the phone ringing is.
So there is an old lady screaming. There is 2 broken windows. It looks like there was a heck of a fight. And you see the guy who could only be bugged with his eyes wide open, half in and half out of a drywall wall that's been broken. And his phone is ringing.
I'll pick it up.
Okay. It says Red. Someone named Red is calling.
Okay.
Do you answer it?
Yeah. That's it. Hello.
Wait, who is this?
This is a friend of Bugs.
Oh, okay. Well, can you tell him that I called and that I need to... Actually, is he there right now?
He is, but he's embedded in a wall and he looks unconscious. He's kind of half in, half out of the drive.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He's it looks like he's been punched up a bit.
All right, I zoom there.
Okay, you show up in 2 minutes. So Jay, you see that both the old lady and the young girl are there, and the girl has the shit kicked out of her. It is without question the girl from the end of your dream.
Ooh.
But this is not the same old lady.
Not the same old lady. It's the girl from the end of my dream.
And she can't speak because her face has been mashed.
I'm going to use Bug's phone to call an ambulance.
Okay.
That's someone with a fractured jaw, and they need EMT assistance.
Okay, and the super speed guy that showed up in the news about a month ago just turns up there.
Are you in costume?
I feel like yes, just because if you would have described him as been in a fight, then I would have tried to put at least like put my mask on. Zoom in. I'm just frantically looking around.
Bug doesn't. There's not a scratch on him. I mean, his 8-bit warrior shirt. It looks like it's been torn. It's the same shirt that you remember from the dream, right? The he can help thing. And but there is no. I mean, his hair's messed up, but his hair's always messed up. Whatever dropped him, literally, he has no bloody nose, nothing.
I'm just gonna ask. What happened to him?
I don't know. I just got here.
And the grandma lady is screaming.
She might know. And I'll try to calm her down.
Okay. And neither one of you speaks other languages, right?
No.
Okay.
No, English. That's it.
Okay. And so she manages to croak out. Jay, what's your influence and aura?
Influence 6, aura 5.
Ah, very nice. You're going to have to roll a 5 or better to get her to calm down and speak reasonably.
Okay, 5 or better. Got it. I got a 15.
Okay. So she's like, the bug, stop the bad men.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Bug, they hurt him.
With what?
And
They hurt him.
she gestures and doesn't know the word.
Okay. Looks like she's
With a gun?
using a gun.
And the bright light, the gun. Yeah. And so your ambulance shows up not much later, and they want to examine Bug too. Are you gonna let them?
Well, real quick, before they would have shown up, could I have just kind of gone over to Bug and just like check for a pulse and just kind of do the basic he's not dead? He's
not dead. His eyes are wide open, and he doesn't even look hurt. His heartbeat's fine. His pulse is fast, but it's his pulse has gotten faster when you guys were fighting gangsters.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. After that, I just kind of, I guess I'll let the medical professionals deal with it.
Okay. So, the medics get there, and they pick up the girl, and she's trying to say something, and she does not want to leave with them. The medics are both men. She does not want to leave.
I'll let her know I'll come with her. I'll ride in the ambulance with her, but she needs medical attention.
Okay, roll me 2 dice. You're also a pretty convincing person, which is nice, as well as a woman.
Mm-hmm. Oops. 12.
Okay, easy. So she manages to croak out a couple of words through a broken jaw. They're the heroes. They were supposed to save me, and she passes out.
They were the heroes. Who are these heroes? Who are these heroes she's referring to?
Okay.
Well, she passes out, then
Do you let them take her, or do you go with her?
I go with her. Where are we going? So I can tell Red Runner that have Bug catch up to me here when you bring him around.
You had a great name for a hospital in the other game, and I've forgotten it.
Yeah.
It's on your...
but we're in North Elmview
Right.
area, so there is there's that trauma clinic where that Dr. Phil Long, physician assistant Phil Long, when Bug was first taken to. I think it was Elmview Urgent Care.
Okay,
North
so that's fine. We're still in your map, so.
Blackbridge Hospital's in the north part of the city, across the river.
Okay, so they're taking him to the urgent care. Do you let them take Bug? They want to take him because obviously he appears hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, he
So,
looks like he's
I don't know
suffering
any
from-
better.
I think he's suffering from massive contusions.
Okay, but literally not messed up except for the one small rip in his shirt. It's
Bite your tongue. Contusions.
Hey, I'm gonna kind of tap Red Rosa or Ultra-Rosa. Sorry.
I'm in civvies.
I'll kind of
Just so you know.
bring you off to the side. Say, I think I'm gonna look around here for a minute before I come to the hospital. I'm pretty quick, so it shouldn't take too long.
Okay, you do that. I'll watch over. Because I need to talk to Bug when he comes around. I showed up here to talk to him when I found him like this, all messed up.
okay. So what? You don't have any of those specific skills, right, Parker? Like detective or any of those?
No. I just figured he would just kind of zip around real quick, just anything that was obvious to him. You know, he's not a detective or anything, so it would have to be,
It's a perception check. That's fine. And your intelligence and will are what now?
4s.
Both 4s. Oh, again, roll a 9 to find it. Something.
All right,
Sorry if I keep asking some of these. I can't keep all 3 characters straight in my head.
it's all good. I got an 11.
Good enough. You find Winston's card. Bug was either holding it or nearly so when he got blasted into the wall.
All right, I'll pocket that,
Okay.
and then I'll go up.
And the old lady, she says right before you leave,
Oh, yep.
she says to you, she puts her hand in your arm, says, "The heroes. You're the heroes?"
Yes.
And she says, "The building. It's good. The building's still good."
Yes, and I'm gonna hold the card up and I'm gonna point at it,
And she
and I'm gonna
spits
say,
on it.
like, shrug.
She spits on it.
Okay. I'm gonna do this.
Yep.
I'm gonna zoom and go get her. I'm gonna just go to the nearest, like, 7-Eleven or gas station or something and get some snacks and then come back.
Okay.
And then I'll go to the hospital.
Okay.
At the what was the Pop and Shop?
Yeah.
That's the franchise. That's our 7-Eleven in Capital City.
Gotcha.
Andy, give me a recovery check. You've been hit by a mental attack. You are currently at -1. You're also on mute.
17. That's not bad.
Oh, not bad at all. You wake up in one of these kind of exam rooms at a clinic. You recall having been in this exam room in this clinic before.
They need to stop bringing me here.
Is PA Phil Long on shift?
PA Phil Long is setting this girl's jaw.
Oh, good, because he had some things he was really concerned about, Buck. And he had some foreign object in his head, but he hasn't had that opportunity to have that discussion with him.
Yeah, I believe Bug's been avoiding that discussion, if I recall.
Oh, Bug. Avoid requires an active act.
And he says to you, he says, "You're Salina Conners, right?"
Yes, I am. How do you know that?
We're in the same business, more or less. I've seen you at the shelter.
Oh, have you brought girls by that are need help?
The other direction. I've picked them up when they've needed help.
Ah.
There's been a number of times over the years that women show up at your shelter with a broken arm. Is she one of yours?
No. No, she's from this neighborhood.
Listen, here's a problem. We have to call the police for this kind of thing. She's in a chuck. And he stops like this should mean something to you.
Yeah.
Andy, you wake up right when they're talking about Innichucks. You feel like giant strobing lights and a sensory overload, and it whacked you. And you're feeling better now.
I don't know what that means.
Casino Point?
She's a native.
Native of what?
America?
Oh, okay.
Just south of the city is the old Indian reservation, the Innichuck Indian Reservation. It was a couple of years ago that they got the laws passed that they could build the casino. And there's a big public-private thing going on out there. Well, a lot of the Innichucks, some have been displaced. The point is, this is a Bureau of Indian Affairs things. The cops are going to show up here. And look, I'm not someone who can stop this.
Should we just call the Indian Bureau of Indian Affairs and skip the cops?
I think that might be part of the same problem.
Jesus, what happened to you? I couldn't even put a needle in your arm.
New problems, new solutions.
She's an Innichuck. If crimes were committed against a native on the reservation, the police here have no jurisdiction. All they can do is take her back.
She was in town. She was in the city.
Doesn't matter. She came to my place for protection. She goes back to my place for protection.
Well, I'm just saying she wasn't on the reservation.
Right, but if we stay here and talk about it, this nice man has to do what he has to do. And he's going to call the cops, and the cops are going to show up. The cops will stay away from my place, at least in the short term. They will fight more and more complicated the longer this goes on, but she doesn't go anywhere she doesn't want to go, and the only place I know she wanted to go was my place.
You know it's true. I said I feel it too.